So today we begin the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. The 10th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita is the heart of the Gita. It is the essence, the core part of the 6 verses that specifically deal with bhakti. The Bhagavad-Gita is a book that synthesizes, syncretizes, and it blends the Ashtikya philosophies of the Vedas, that is Sankhya, Yoga, Karma Mimamsa, Vedanta. It weaves them all into a wonderful tapestry. And at the core of this tapestry, essentially, is the Narayaniya philosophy. The Narayaniya philosophy is the philosophy of Narayan as Bhagavan, as Krishna, the source of everything. And while the 7th and 9th chapter have already given us a lead into the devotional part of the Bhagavad Gita, the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is that chapter which prepares the mind of Arjuna and the mind of the devotees listening to the 10th chapter. It prepares the mind to witness the cosmic universal form of Krishna. This chapter is also known as Vibhuti Yoga. What do we mean by Vibhuti Yoga? Vibhuti Yoga is Krishna describing some, not all, of his opulences, of his glories, by pointing out within the world all that is glorious and all that is wonderful, and giving you these to meditate upon, so that by looking at these wonderful vibhutis, you may remember and meditate upon Krishna. So in a sense, it is a meditational chapter, the Vibhuti Yoga. It is a meditation upon the vibhutis or the opulences of Krishna. And therefore, it's a very important chapter. And by meditating upon Krishna in this Vibhuti Yoga, you fulfill what Krishna wants. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. For one who sees me in all things and all things in me, he is never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to him. So, Krishna wants you to see him in all things. And to make a beginning of seeing him in all things, you begin by meditating upon his vibhutis, or meditating upon his glories, or meditating upon his opulences. So there are some major themes in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The first theme of the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, is Krishna, who declares himself as supreme. This is an important section, and it's an important part that the devotee, before he goes on to Vibhuti Yoga and before he goes on to viewing the universal form of Krishna, the cosmic universal form, you need to understand that Krishna is supreme. Ete chamsa kalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna is the supreme Bhagavan. And this is what is the first principle of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So in text 1, Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhuya eva mahabao shrinu me paramam vacha yatteham priyamanaya vakshami hitakamyaya. He says, oh my dear friend, mighty armed Arjun, listen again to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit. And on hearing this, you will get great joy. And he points out in text 2 that he is unknown to the Devatas, he is unknown to the great sages, because he is actually the source of the Devatas and the sages. Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharishiya aham adirhi devanam maharishinam cha sarvashah. So Krishna points out, the Devatas cannot know who I am. Who are the Devatas? So essentially, while people talk about 33 crore Devatas, you should know that there are 33 Devatas. And these 33 Devatas are 8 Vasus, who are the deities of the material elements. The Aus, which is sky, Prithvi, which is earth, Vayu, which is the wind, Agni, which is fire, Nakshatra, which is the stars, Varuna, he is the deity of water, Surya, who is the sun, and Chandra, who is the moon. Then you have the 12 Adityas. These are personified deities. Just like the 8 Vasus were deities of material elements, but not personified. In the 12 Adityas, we have the personified deities. That is Indra, Aryaman, Twashtir, Varuna, Bhaga, Savitra, Vivashvat, Ansha, Mitra, Pushan, Daksha, Vishnu. Yes, Vishnu is also one of the 33 Devatas. He has his representation amongst the Devatas as well. 11 Rudras, which consists of Aja, Ekapada, Ahir Buddhanaya, Twashta, Rudra, Hara, Shambhu, Trayambaka, Aparajita, Ishana, Tribhuvana, and the 2 Ashwins. So these are the 33 Devatas that Krishna speaks of. And Krishna points out that he exists prior to them. So not only does he say that, he says, I am prior to the 7 rishis. Who are the 7 rishis? The 7 rishis of the Sapta rishis of the current age, which is the Vaivashvat Manavantra. They are Atri, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Jamadagni, Kashyapa, Vashishta, and Vishwamitra. And preceding them, he says, as the 4 sages, I am before them also. And the 4 sages are the 4 Sanat Kumars, which is Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara, who are all the mind-born sons of Brahma, who are eternally celibate. So having pointed this out, he says that they don't know me because I am their source. Name vidu suragana prabhavan maharishiya aham adiri devanam maharishinam cha sarvasha. Indeed, if you go to the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad-Geeta, you will see that in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad-Geeta, Krishna also says that everyone does not know him. Very clearly he points out in the 7th chapter of the, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritah. Everyone cannot know me as I am. And why is it everyone cannot know me as I am? They cannot know me as I am because, very simply, Krishna explains, because of my yoga maya, because I am deluding them. I delude them with my yoga maya, and hence they are unable to understand me as I am. In fact, he also says, Vedaham samatitani vartmani cha arjuna bhutani cha bhavishyani mam tu vedana kaschana. He says very clearly that I know the past, I know the present, I know the future of all of you. But me, nobody knows. And why is it nobody knows? Nobody knows because he says, Naham, in 7.25, he says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritah mudo yam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and the unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal creative potency of yoga maya. And so the deluded world knows me not, who is unborn and infallible. So, Krishna points out here in this 10th chapter that people cannot know me as I am because of his yoga maya, his creative potency, which makes the foolish unable to understand him. In fact, he does say here in the 3rd verse that Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamudha samartyeshu sarva pape pramuchyate. One who knows me as unborn, as beginningless, as the so supreme Lord of all the worlds, he, undeluded amongst men, is freed from all sin. In the 4th chapter, he has also said this. That janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. That one who knows the divine nature of my appearance and activities, when he leaves this world, when he leaves this body, he does not return to this world again. He now, in texts 4 and 5, he shows himself to become, he is the source of all these qualities. And these qualities are intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, self-control and calmness, pleasure and pain, birth and death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. So the different qualities that are there in human beings have all got their root in Krishna. So Krishna is the source of all that is material and spiritual within this universe. In fact, he says that he pervades this universe, and this universe is only 1/4 of creation. Therefore, if you see the Purusha Sukta in the Rig Veda, you will find that Purusha Sukta points out that this universe is again 1/4. Purusha Sukta pervades this universe with only 1/4 of his aspect. So he says here what I have told you, Maharishya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhava Manasa Jata Yesham Loka Ima Prajaha. So the 7 great sages that I pointed out to you, and the 4 great sages, the Sanat Kumars, and the Manus are all born out of my mind, he says. And all creatures in these planets, they descend from them. He goes on to say one who knows in truth this glory and power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Etam vibhutim yogam cha. He's going to point out his opulences. And he says, if you know, if you learn my opulences, and if you see me through my opulences within this world, then you are automatically engaged in bhakti, and surely you will come to me. So this is the core that he is pointing out, that elsewhere in the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna points out, Yo mam eva ma samudo janati purushottamam sa sarva vid bhajate mam sarva bhavena bharata. One who knows me to be the Supreme Lord, he is the knower of all things. Having finished text 7 of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we now come to the famous 8 to 11, which are known as the Chatushloki. Chatushloki means 4, the 4 verses, which are indeed the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Indeed, you don't have to learn all the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. You just have to learn these 4 verses. Because if you know these 4 verses, you know Bhagavad Gita. So what a wonderful way to study Bhagavad Gita. You learn these 4 verses and their meanings, and you already know the whole Bhagavad Gita. The rest can be done at a more gradual pace. So this Chatushloki is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And what is unique about this essence, the similar verses are there in the Bhagavad Puran. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, there is the Chatushloki. And for the followers of Advait philosophy, the 4 Mahavakyas in the Upanishads are considered by them to be the Chatushlokis of the Advait Upanishads. So for us, this Bhagavad Gita, these 4 verses are the essence. They are the center, they are the heart. If you know these 4, you know Bhagavad Gita. If you don't understand or know or accept these 4, then you don't know Bhagavad Gita. So in this Chatushloki, he begins by saying, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Krishna says, I am the source, I am the prabhava, I am the origin of all the spiritual and material worlds and universes. We speak of one universe. Well, there are many metaverses. And Krishna is the source of all of them, material and spiritual. And he says, everything emanates from me. And the wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samamnitaha. So this is the first of the Chatushlokis. And what is it pointing out? It is pointing out that Krishna is the source of everything. That Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. This is the beginning of the Chatushlokis. In the next verse, which is chapter 10, text 9, Krishna now begins to explain how his devotees behave. Do you want to know how devotees behave? If you want to be a devotee of Krishna, this is how you will behave. Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhyantas parasparam kathyantas cha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my dear devotees constantly dwell in me. Their lives are completely surrendered unto me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and talking about me. So this is the source of Kṛṣṇa Katha. Kṛṣṇa Katha means to talk about Krishna. And this is the behavior of his devotees. Their lives are devoted to Krishna. Matgata prana, their very prana is devoted in the service of the Lord. And bodhyantas parasparam, they are constantly enlightening one another about them, about Krishna. They're constantly talking about Krishna. And they are both enjoying themselves and they are very happy by doing this. So very often people wonder, how does a devotee spend his time? And Krishna points out here that Matchitta Matgata Prana Bodhyantas Parasparam Katyantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So the devotees of the Lord have their lives, their very prana dedicated to Krishna. They're always completely surrendered unto him. They're enlightening one another about Krishna. And they're always talking about him and enjoying themselves while they talk about him. Now you might wonder that Name Vidu Surgana Prabhavam na Maharishya Aham Adirhi Devanam Maharishinam Chasarvashara. No, all these people he precedes, he knows, but they don't know. He says, Vedaham Samatitani Vartmani cha Arjuna Bhutani cha Bhavishyani Mam tu Vedna Kaschana. I know the past, the present, the future of all living entities, but me nobody knows. So how can one know Krishna? And this is a very important point which is brought out in the next two verses. Do you think you can know Krishna by engaging in Bhakti Yoga? Do you think by constantly talking about Krishna, remembering him, you will attain him? God cannot be attained by human effort. But when you please God by showing a desire to meet him, to know him, then God gives you his grace. So enlightenment is never by effort. Enlightenment is by grace. Enlightenment doesn't come out of your hard work. Enlightenment comes when God chooses to reveal himself to you. In the Padma Puran, there is a verse, and that's also repeated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriye. Sevan mukhe hi jivavdus swayam eva spurati adha. He says, you cannot know God through your eyes, nose, ears, tongue, sense of touch. These are all blunt material senses. It's only by constant service to God, by pleasing him, that God will give you his grace and he will reveal himself to you. You see elsewhere in the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna points out that naham veder na tapasa na danena na cha ijjaya bhaktya ananya shakya aham evam vido arjuna. You cannot know me by studying the scriptures or Vedas. Naham veder na tapasa. You can perform great tapasya, but you will not know me. Na danena, not by giving in charity will you know me. Na cha ijjaya, not by ritualistic worship can you know me as I am. You can only know me as I am by unalloyed, undiluted, undeviating bhakti to me. This is how you shall know me as I am. Krishna also points out, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyashchashmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram. But this comes not through your effort. Your personal effort can only help to tame your mind. Your personal effort can only help to silence your mind. Your personal effort can only help you to transcend your mind. But knowing Krishna comes through his grace, his divine grace. It comes through Krishna's blessings. And these are the two verses which clearly point out that this is the case. That is why they are so important and form part of the Chatushloki. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. For those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love. Key word here is constantly. Satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Are you satata yuktanam? How do you get into satata yuktanam? How are you constantly united with Krishna? Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusha madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever charities, whatever austerities you perform, everything do it for me. This is called Tesham Satatam Yuktana. You have to live for Krishna. Therefore, he says, Matchitta Matgata Prana, Bodhyantas Parasparam. You're constantly giving your prana. Every effort that you make in the world is an offering to Krishna. You're constantly united with him. Mam chayo avhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. You're without any deviation, you're constantly engaged in serving God. So here he points out that for those who are constantly devoted and worshipping me with love, I give them that understanding by which to come to me. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. He says, I give them that buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga does not come from studying textbooks or scriptures or Vedas or Upanishads. It comes by the grace of God. And it comes when you kindle within Krishna's heart his mercy. So his grace, his mercy helps to enlighten you. And he says here in text 11, Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jantamah nashamya atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvatah. When he sees that you are satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, when he sees that you're doing everything for him, then out of compassion for him, out of compassion for the duty of your, out of compassion for his devotee, Krishna gives his mercy, his grace. And he says, out of compassion for him, for the devotee, since I am already in their hearts, with the shining lamp of knowledge, I destroy the darkness born out of ignorance. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashamyatmavasto jnana deepena bhasata. For those who are constantly united with me, worshipping me with love and with devotion, who are always completely absorbed in me, doing everything for me, I feel compassion for them. I have sympathy for them. I empathize with them. I feel for them who are struggling to unite with me. And thus I give them my mercy, my grace, my blessings. Because I am in their hearts with the shining lamp of knowledge, I destroy that darkness which is born out of ignorance. So God is not attained by hard work. It is not attained by trying to storm the kingdom of heaven. It is attained when your efforts kindle in the Lord His compassion, His sympathy, His empathy, His blessings, His grace. Because God is not attained in this world by human effort, it is obtained by the grace of God. This is the essence and this is the core of the Bhagavad-Gita. If you understand this part of the Bhagavad-Gita, then you will understand everything in the Bhagavad-Gita. If you know these 4 shlokas, this Chatushloka, then surely you also know and you also understand the rest of the Bhagavad-Gita. So I'll pause here. If anyone has any questions or queries, please go ahead and ask.
Thank you so much, Shantuji, for today's session. My first question is, how
I
can
can't
an
hear you and I
ordinary
can't
person
see you.
start recognizing Krishna's presence
Hello?
in the world around them? Uh, Hello,
There's something wrong with you.
sir?
I cannot see or hear you.
Okay, let me just try again.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Can you?
I can see
Can
you now, but let me hear you.
Okay. Can
Yes.
you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, what is the question?
Hello.
Yes, what is the question?
My first question is, how can an ordinary person start?
How can an ordinary person?
My first question is,
Yes.
start recognizing Krishna's presence in everything.
Yes. So first of all, do everything for Krishna. That's already said. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kantya tat kurushamudarpanam. You do something for Krishna all the time. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever charities, whatever austerities you perform, everything do it for Krishna. Whatever work you're doing in your workplace, that's offered to Krishna. It's your boss, yes, but you offer it to Krishna in the heart of your boss. At home, you offer it to your spouse. Your spouse, yes, but you're offering it to Krishna who's in the heart of your spouse. So thus, you always do everything for him with the idea Om Tat Sat. Once you are doing that, then you learn to see him everywhere. So this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Vibhuti Yoga, will give you the opportunity to at least see Krishna in his opulences and glories. So if you can learn to see Krishna at least in his glories and his opulences, eventually you will learn to see him everywhere. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. So one who sees me in all things and all things in me, I am never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. So the point is to become conscious of Krishna all the time. Therefore, it's pointed out in the Bhagavad Puran that there are 2 characteristics. In the Bhagavad Puran, it is pointed out that Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktira Doksuje Ahai Tuki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasiddhati. The topmost religion is that religion which teaches you how to love God. And the two characteristics of that religion to fully satisfy the soul are that one, it should be unmotivated. Don't ask him for anything. And the other is, don't interrupt worshipping him. It should be uninterrupted and unmotivated worship. Ahaituki and apratihata. Ahaituki means without any motive. And apratihata means without any interruption. If you act in this way, then God, out of compassion for you, seated in your heart, he will destroy the ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. He will give you his grace. He will give you his mercy. He will give you his
And my
blessing.
second question is, considering the fact.
Hello. What is the second question? Yes, can you repeat the second question? I can't hear you.
And my second question is, um, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you
How
now.
can one practically train their mind to see God in everything?
So you start with Vibhuti Yoga meditation. You start by recognizing Kṛṣṇa in all these wonderful things that he talks about in the Bhagavad-Geeta.
How can one practically train the mind to see God in everything?
So first, you learn to chant. If you can chant,
Hello?
if you can chant Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Iti Shodhashakam Nam Nam Kali Kalmashu Nashanam Nata Paratarupaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. Krishna says in this 10th chapter that I am Yagna Nam Japo Yagnosmi. I am this chanting of the holy name. So start by chanting 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. And when you do this, you will be immersing your mind in Krishna. And when you immerse your mind in Krishna, you will become inclined to doing everything for Krishna. You can start by offering whatever you are eating to Krishna and gradually step it up to whatever you do, you will be offering to Krishna. And when you're constantly offering everything to Krishna, Shubha Ashubha Falairevam Moksha se Karma Bandhane Sannyasa Yoga Yuktena Vimukto Mam Evashyasi. In this way, when you're doing everything for Krishna, it's called Sannyasa Yoga, even though you're in Grihastha life. And by doing everything for Krishna, you will cause Krishna to feel compassion for you. And when he feels compassion for you, he will give you his mercy. He will give you his grace. Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jamtamah nashamyatma bhavasto jnana deepena bhusvatah. So don't complain, don't cry, don't grumble. Tolerate everything as Krishna's mercy and constantly become engaged in remembering him and being absorbed in him. Be a person who causes Krishna to feel compassionate towards you, to feel merciful towards you, to empathize with what you're going through, to have sympathy for what you're going through. And through this compassion, he will give you his grace. Is that clear? Are you there? So with this, we will conclude today's session. Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna.